There's something deeply unsettling about Sigma males, something that shakes people at a level they can't quite explain. They don't roar for attention like the alphas, nor do they seek approval like the betas. They move differently, like shadows in daylight, silent, observant, calculating. You'll rarely see them coming, but once they're in the room, the energy shifts. People become self-conscious, nervous, intrigued. Because Sigma males don't just walk alone, they walk with purpose. They speak less, but when they do, every word lands heavy. They watch more, and often notice what others are too distracted to see. This eerie self-control, the ability to remain still in a world addicted to noise, makes them both admired and feared. It's not that Sigma males want to intimidate anyone, it's just that their very presence breaks illusions, pierces facades, and exposes truths others spend a lifetime hiding from. You see, most people wear masks to survive social life. But Sigma males? They take theirs off, and that discomforts those who can't. What's truly terrifying is that Sigma males don't need to try. Their behaviors are instinctive, not rehearsed. They didn't read a book on how to unsettle people, they were born with a psychological edge that sets them apart. This isn't arrogance. It's precision. It's power disguised as indifference. And the world doesn't quite know how to handle that. So today, we're diving deep into the psychology of Sigma males. We're going to expose 8 terrifying things Sigma males do naturally, things that cause others to hesitate, rethink, and sometimes even fear them. If you've ever felt that quiet, magnetic force when a Sigma walks by, you're about to understand exactly why. Number 1, their silence can cut deeper than words. For most people, silence is just the absence of sound. But when a Sigma male goes silent, it becomes a psychological weapon, calculated, unsettling, and unforgettable. When conflict erupts, others lash out, trying to dominate the conversation, to win. But the Sigma male doesn't engage in such petty battles. He does something far more powerful, he withdraws. No yelling. No emotional outbursts. Just a cold, deliberate absence that says, your chaos doesn't deserve my energy. This silence isn't passive. It's punishment. It's a statement, I am in control of myself, and you will not pull me into your storm. The Sigma male's silence forces the offender to hear their own voice echo in an empty emotional void. And in that haunting silence, insecurity grows. Doubts creep in. The other person replays every word, every gesture, hunting for the exact moment they lost him. Meanwhile, the Sigma male isn't stewing, he's processing. He's calculating risk, measuring intention, scanning for integrity. He's not deciding how to defend himself, he's deciding if you're even worth engaging with at all. And once he concludes you aren't, his silence becomes permanent. No explanations. No closure. Just disappearance. To most, this level of detachment is terrifying. Not because it's cruel, but because it reveals something raw and rare, a man who is emotionally self-sufficient and impossible to manipulate. You can't guilt him. You can't bait him. And when he's done, you'll never know how close you were to being part of his world, until he walks away and leaves you talking to your own echo. Number 2, they possess an unpredictably quick response to crisis. When the world starts falling apart, everyone looks around, waiting for someone to take charge. They panic, they freeze, they scream. But the Sigma male? He steps in like he's been there 100 times before. There's no hesitation. No chaos in his eyes. Just a calm, razor-sharp awareness that cuts through the noise. It's like watching a soldier in civilian clothes, someone who knows exactly what to do when seconds matter and emotions are liabilities. He doesn't ask for permission. He doesn't look for praise. He simply acts, with precision and total command. While others are still reacting emotionally, he's 2 steps ahead, seeing pathways no one else even realizes exist. This is what decades of self-discipline, solitude, and mental conditioning forge, a man whose mind doesn't shut down in crisis, it sharpens. He's run through 1,000 scenarios in his head during quiet moments when no one was watching. He knows how to override panic, calculate escape routes, identify threats, and mobilize people, not through barking orders, but through sheer presence. One look at him and people follow. And what truly rattles those around him is how mechanical it seems. How detached. How efficient. He doesn't comfort. He doesn't console. He stabilizes. Then disappears again, often without staying for the applause. To others, this kind of speed and clarity feels unnatural, almost inhuman. But to a Sigma male, it's just preparation meeting reality. In his world, you don't wait for someone to tell you what to do. You are the someone. And if others feel uneasy around him afterward, it's not because he failed them, it's because he reminded them just how unprepared they truly are. Number 3, their eyes seem to pierce through souls. There's something disarming, almost surgical, about the way a Sigma male looks at you. It's not just eye contact. It's something far deeper, like being scanned, decrypted, and silently judged in real time. A Sigma's gaze isn't random. It's purposeful. While most people glance around a room to appear sociable or polite, the Sigma male locks eyes and stays there. Not to intimidate, but to study. He's watching everything: your breathing rhythm, your blink rate, the inconsistencies between what you're saying and how your body betrays it. To the untrained, this stare feels invasive, like you're suddenly under a spotlight you didn't agree to stand in. And that's because you are. He's picking up micro-expressions, tiny muscle movements most never notice, and decoding vocal tension to measure the truth behind your words. He doesn't just hear what you say, he feels what you meant. People often walk away from conversations with him feeling strangely exposed, like they just revealed too much without realizing it. They replay the interaction later, wondering, did I say something wrong, or how did he know that? It's not mind reading. It's pattern recognition, forged through long periods of isolation, silence, and observation. And he rarely blinks or softens that gaze, because to him, this intensity serves a deeper purpose. If you're genuine, you'll feel deeply seen, even respected. But if you're fake, manipulative, or hiding something, that stare will feel like a spotlight on your deception, and you'll start cracking under the pressure, over-explaining, shifting your body, breaking eye contact. That's why Sigma males terrify people without saying a word. Because with a single look, they can dismantle the carefully constructed personas others wear to survive socially. And they won't announce what they've figured out. They'll just know, and file it away. Number 4, they remember every act of disrespect. Most people move on quickly. They forgive easily. They chalk things up to a bad day or misunderstanding. But Sigma males? They don't forget. Ever. Not because they're petty or bitter, but because they're meticulous. Every interaction is recorded like a time-stamped log in their mental system. That snide comment you made when you thought he wasn't paying attention? Logged. That passive-aggressive jab wrapped in a joke? Noted. That time you sided with someone disrespecting him just to avoid tension? Burned into memory. But here's what makes it chilling: the Sigma won't call you out. He won't cause a scene. He won't even flinch. He'll simply note it, internalize it, and start adjusting how close he allows you to be. Forgiveness is possible. But access? That's a privilege he calibrates like a security system. Once you trip a wire, you may never get full access again, because to a Sigma, trust is a currency, and every act of disrespect is a withdrawal. What makes this truly intimidating is how calmly he carries it. He won't warn you that you're on thin ice. He won't threaten to cut you off. He'll just do it, silently, shrinking the emotional bandwidth he gives you, reducing replies to monosyllables, or disappearing from your life altogether. No fights. No closure. Just database detachment. Why? Because Sigma males value peace like others value popularity. And anything that endangers that peace, even subtle disloyalty, is considered a long-term threat. To outsiders, this seems cold, maybe even ruthless. But from the Sigma's perspective, it's the most rational way to protect his inner world. And that's what unsettles people. Once you disrespect a Sigma, you'll never know exactly how much access you've lost, but you'll feel the distance. Number 5, their predictions are eerily accurate. One of the most unnerving things about Sigma males is their uncanny ability to see things coming before they happen. Not once or twice, but consistently. And it's not luck, intuition, or some mystical sixth sense. It's a high-level cognitive skill powered by relentless observation, data synthesis, and probabilistic reasoning. While most people are distracted by noise, gossip, trends, superficial signals, the Sigma male is locked in on patterns. He watches how decisions ripple, how people flinch before a lie, how systems fail in quiet ways before the collapse becomes visible. He doesn't just react, he runs simulations in his mind, asking, if this variable shifts, what domino falls next? If that person hesitates, what are they hiding? What's the 20-move forecast, not just the next one? When a Sigma calmly says, this partnership will collapse in 6 months, or, watch, he's about to betray you, and then it happens exactly as he said, people get rattled. Not because he gloats, but because his accuracy feels prophetic. It forces others to ask, what else does he know, or worse, what has he already predicted about me? What feels like prophecy is really the result of deep mental frameworks. He doesn't need to guess, he calculates. He understands cause and effect on a scale most people never train for. His brain runs like a private intelligence agency, constantly correlating signals others miss or dismiss. This ability makes Sigma males invaluable in high-stakes environments, yet at the same time, deeply unsettling to those who'd prefer their weaknesses stay unnoticed. Because if he can see the future of a situation, what secrets of yours has he already filed under inevitable outcome? That's what makes people uneasy. His silence might already contain your fate. Number 6, they're immune to social control. In a world driven by image, status, and approval, most people are subtly manipulated every day. Praise steers them. Guilt redirects them. Fear of exclusion locks them in line. But Sigma males? They are completely immune to this system, and that immunity scares manipulators to their core. These men don't need applause. They don't crave likes. They aren't terrified of being the outsider, because they already are, by choice. You can't shame someone who doesn't operate on group validation. You can't seduce him with popularity when he sees through the illusion of status. Try using threats, peer pressure, or emotional bait to manipulate him, and you'll find yourself outmaneuvered before you even finish your sentence. He doesn't respond to rewards or punishments like others do because his internal compass is sovereign. That means, you can't flatter him into submission. You can't embarrass him into compliance. You can't bribe him with clout or influence. This resistance short-circuits control systems everywhere, from corporate hierarchies to social circles, even intimate relationships. Power players hate it. They can't handle him. He won't bend, won't play along, won't participate in their unspoken rules. But it also unsettles the average person, because watching someone ignore the rules of the social game forces a harsh realization: I've been following a script he doesn't even acknowledge. And suddenly, the game doesn't feel as important anymore. Sigma males don't just resist control, they expose it. Their very presence reveals how controlled everyone else really is. And once you see that, there's no going back. Number 7, they comfortably push beyond conventional limits. Most people inch out of their comfort zones tentatively, if they leave them at all. The Sigma male, however, doesn't just step outside his, he demolishes its walls and rebuilds them farther out, treating discomfort like a training ground for mastery. Where others hesitate, he charges forward, not out of recklessness, but with the precision of a strategist who understands that true growth lies beyond the boundaries of familiarity. He seeks out challenges that would paralyze the average person. Volunteering for high-stakes assignments others avoid, not for praise, but to test his own limits. Teaching himself obscure skills, whether a dead language, advanced survival tactics, or an esoteric trade, simply because the mental friction of learning sharpens his adaptability. Traveling alone to unfamiliar territories, immersing himself in cultures where language barriers and alien customs force him to rely solely on instinct and observation. For the Sigma, discomfort isn't an obstacle, it's the whetstone against which he hones his resilience. While most people seek safety, he thrives in the friction of the unknown, recalibrating his baseline for stress with each trial. What looks like masochism to outsiders is, for him, a calculated system of self-evolution. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. This relentless expansion unsettles those around him. Coworkers watch him take on tasks that would break them and wonder, why would anyone choose hardship? Friends hear about his solo treks through war-torn regions or his midnight study sessions on subjects with no practical use and question his sanity. But the Sigma isn't chasing suffering, he's chasing sovereignty. Every conquered fear, every mastered skill, every survived ordeal reinforces his unshakable truth: I am capable of far more than society claims. And that's what truly unnerves people. His existence is a mirror, forcing them to confront their own complacency. When he thrives in chaos, it highlights their reliance on routine. When he embraces uncertainty, it exposes their addiction to predictability. The Sigma doesn't judge their choices, but his mere presence makes their excuses untenable. Number 8, their minds can subconsciously influence others. The most unnerving Sigma trait isn't his silence, his intellect, or his discipline, it's his ability to bend reality around him without lifting a finger. He doesn't command, he steers, weaving his influence so subtly that those around him mistake his guidance for their own ideas. This isn't manipulation in the Machiavellian sense. The Sigma doesn't plant suggestions like a puppeteer, he simply thinks differently, and that difference radiates outward, reshaping decisions in his orbit. Here's how it works. Precision language, he doesn't argue, he reframes. A single phrase, "Have we considered the long-term cost of this?" lodges in a colleague's mind, and days later, they reject a plan they once championed, believing it was their own realization. Strategic silence, in meetings, he says little but listens intensely. When he finally speaks, his words carry disproportionate weight, not because he demands it, but because his restraint makes every syllable feel deliberate. The room subconsciously aligns with his cadence. Unspoken preference, friends debate vacation spots for weeks. The Sigma mentions, almost offhand, "I've always wanted to see the Mongolian steppes." 2 months later, the group books flights to Ulaanbaatar, each member convinced it was their idea. This influence isn't supernatural, it's the result of hyper-observation. The Sigma maps the hidden currents of human motivation: who craves validation, who fears conflict, who mimics authority. He doesn't exploit these patterns, he navigates them instinctively, positioning his input where it will resonate loudest. The chilling part? He often doesn't intend to sway outcomes. His mind simply operates on a higher resolution, spotting connections others miss. When he shares an observation, it's not a ploy, it's raw data. But that data is so potent it reprograms the thinking of those who hear it. When people later trace back a group's decision to his quiet remark, the realization dawns: he shaped this reality, and we didn't even notice. That's the heart of the terror. The Sigma proves how easily free will bends to unseen forces, and how effortlessly he, a man who rejects all systems of control, might be the most controlling presence in the room. Yet he remains oblivious to the effect. To him, it's just logic. But to those who witness it, it feels like watching a man whisper to the wind, and watching the wind obey. Number 9, they operate on a different perception of time. Where most people exist in a state of constant reaction, responding to notifications, meeting arbitrary deadlines, and seeking immediate validation, the Sigma male moves through life with the deliberate patience of a chess grandmaster contemplating an endgame strategy. His relationship with time isn't measured in hours and days, but in seasons and decades. This temporal detachment gives him an almost supernatural advantage in a world addicted to instant gratification. The Sigma's ability to play the long game manifests in every aspect of his life. While others chase quick promotions or social media fame, he's quietly building mastery that can't be faked or rushed. He'll spend 5 years learning a language to fluency when others give up after 5 lessons. He invests in relationships that mature like fine wine rather than fast food connections that provide temporary ego boosts. This extended time frame extends to conflict resolution as well, where most people demand immediate closure. The Sigma understands that some truths only reveal themselves with the passage of time. He can wait months or even years to address an issue, allowing his opponents to either self-destruct or prove their worth through sustained behavior. This long-term orientation creates an eerie effect on those around him. Colleagues who cut corners for quick wins find themselves outpaced by his compounding growth. Friends who prioritize instant pleasure watch as his patient investments pay off in ways they can't replicate. The most unsettling realization comes when people understand that while they've been living day to day, the Sigma has been operating on a completely different timescale, one where his current actions were set in motion years earlier, and his future is being shaped by decisions no one else even recognizes as important yet. Number 10, they exist outside social hierarchies. The Sigma male represents a fundamental challenge to the very concept of social hierarchy because he cannot be categorized or controlled within traditional power structures. While alphas jockey for dominance and betas seek acceptance, the Sigma exists in a space that renders these labels meaningless. His power doesn't come from position or title, but from an unshakable self-containment that makes him immune to both flattery and intimidation. In professional settings, this manifests as an invisible authority that has nothing to do with job titles. The Sigma may technically be middle management, but CEOs find themselves unconsciously seeking his approval. In social circles, he's the person whose quiet presence commands attention without ever raising his voice. This phenomenon occurs because the Sigma has no need for external validation. His sense of worth comes entirely from within. Where others modify their behavior to fit in or get ahead, the Sigma remains consistently, unapologetically himself regardless of the social context. This detachment creates profound discomfort in those invested in status games. The ambitious can't manipulate him with promises of promotion. The popular can't influence him with social pressure. Even attempts at intimidation fail because the Sigma simply doesn't recognize the authority others are trying to assert. His mere presence exposes the artificial nature of social hierarchies, revealing how most people willingly chain themselves to systems of control that he walks through untouched. The most terrifying realization for others isn't that the Sigma rejects these systems, it's that he proves they never had any real power to begin with. Conclusion: the unsettling power of the Sigma presence. The Sigma male does not set out to intimidate, yet his very existence becomes a quiet force of disruption in any environment he enters. Each of his traits, developed not for show but as natural extensions of his character, combine to create an aura of self-contained power that subtly rewrites the rules of engagement around him. His silence is not empty, but heavy with unspoken judgment, compelling others to confront the weight of their own words. Where people typically fill voids with noise, his restraint creates a vacuum that pulls truth to the surface. In moments of crisis, his preternatural calm serves as both anchor and accusation, revealing how easily others are ruled by panic. His gaze, penetrating and patient, strips away the carefully constructed masks people wear, leaving them feeling seen in ways that are as uncomfortable as they are rare. What makes the Sigma male uniquely unsettling is not any single quality, but the way these traits interact to form a cohesive whole. His flawless memory for disrespect is not petty vengeance, it is the ledger of a man who refuses to repeat mistakes. His predictive abilities stem not from mysticism, but from an observational rigor that most avoid because it reveals uncomfortable truths. His immunity to social control isn't rebellion, it's the natural consequence of having built an identity that doesn't require external validation. Where others expand their comfort zones in cautious increments, his relentless pursuit of discomfort becomes a mirror, forcing onlookers to acknowledge their own stagnation. Most chilling of all is his subconscious influence, the way his quiet presence bends group dynamics not through force, but through the gravitational pull of his certainty. For those accustomed to social hierarchies and predictable patterns of behavior, encountering a true Sigma male is a destabilizing experience. He cannot be categorized by traditional labels, nor manipulated through conventional means. The rules that govern most human interaction seem to dissolve around him, revealing their arbitrary nature. This produces a peculiar duality in how others respond, simultaneously drawn to his authenticity and unnerved by what it reveals about their own compromises. The Sigma doesn't demand this reaction, he simply exists in a way that makes the unexamined lives around him suddenly visible in stark relief. Engage with our community. Do these observations resonate with your experiences? Have you encountered individuals who embody the Sigma traits we've described, or do you recognize elements of this mindset in yourself? The conversation doesn't end here, we invite you to share your insights and stories in the comments below. Your perspectives help deepen our collective understanding of these complex behavioral dynamics. For those seeking to further explore the Sigma male philosophy, our channel offers additional content that delves into related themes: the psychology of self-mastery, the art of strategic detachment, and the cultivation of genuine personal power beyond social validation. Each video is crafted to provoke thought and encourage meaningful discussion among like-minded individuals pursuing growth. If you found this exploration valuable, consider supporting our work by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement allows us to continue producing content that challenges conventional thinking and examines the nuances of human behavior. For immediate access to more material on this subject, click here to watch our companion piece, 8 Reasons Sigma Males Don't Fit In, and Why They Don't Care, an examination of the costs and freedoms that come with existing outside social expectations. Thank you for being part of this ongoing dialogue. The journey to understanding power dynamics and personal evolution continues, and we appreciate you walking this path with us. Until next time, remember, true strength often lies not in the noise we make, but in the silences we choose to keep.